hello, and welcome to Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. I'm Jeja Flazanes, your host. Welcome to the show. Thank you for downloading today's show. If you're a subscriber and you are enjoying this show, I would really appreciate a rating and review on iTunes. Just helps other people to find the show, and it lets me know that you're enjoying what you're getting. So today's show is The Truth You Are Missing About Love. We've got back Moira Shepherd. I am sure you will enjoy today's show. But before we get into that, I do want to let you know about the next 30-day manifestation challenge. We run a few 30-day manifestation challenges. They are free a few times a year, so make sure to check the website in order to see when the next one is. And you're able to sign up to do a 30-day manifestation challenge at any time. We're just not doing them every month or every other month anymore. So when we first started doing the challenge, it was really focused on law of attraction, focused on vibration and frequency, and creating what we wanted and becoming in alignment with that which we wanted. And a lot of people got success in many areas and developed good practices and habits. But what's been uncovered over the past 30-day manifestation challenges is some other sort of weaknesses or things that I think we all can practice a little bit more. So the theme of the next 30-day manifestation challenge is on receiving. I have found that even with friends and clients and family, people often have this idea of how to receive something and what it looks like, and that I'm only going to wait for that one thing. But what happens is we're not practicing the receiving muscle. We're just expecting it to come in sort of a very specific shape, form, size, or amount, and anything less than that or different from that, we often reject. I mean, think about it. How many times have you been given a compliment that you didn't agree with, and then you argued about it or deflected it? You didn't actually receive it. So the next 30-day manifestation challenge will be focused on receiving, because in order to manifest that which you want, you've got to be in receiving mode. So I'm excited to play with you. If something you're interested in, you can come to fit2love.tv/30daym. So let's get started on the show today. Today's show, The Truth You Are Missing About Love. We have back Moira Shepherd. Popular telesummit speaker Moira Shepherd is the author of the book Top 10 Ways to Be a Love and Money Magnet. Moira supports women in feeling confident they can actually create the life they want and that they deserve to live it. She specializes in guiding coaches, healers, leaders, teachers, visionaries to shed self-doubt and low self-worth that keeps them from living their passion and purpose. After nearly 20 years in the healing arts, Moira rejoices in the privilege of supporting thousands of people in living their dreams, including you, if you're willing. Welcome back to Season 2, Moira.
Thank you, JJ. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be here. You have got beautiful energy, and so does your audience. I guess that's why we're together.
Thank you. Well, it's always lovely to have you. I love having you on Freedom Fridays because of all the different topics that you teach and specialize in, with that spirit in the base of it, with the underbelly of it, all coming from a deeper place, at a higher place, and a more expanded place. So today's show, The Truth You Are Missing About Love. What came to your mind when you thought about doing the show?
What came to mind is how so many of us tend to look to others to give us love before we feel okay about giving ourselves love or approval or praise. It's like we look outside of ourselves for love. And in many relationships, our number one desire in being with the other person is, oh God, I hope you meet my needs. There's just one problem with that. Meeting your needs is not their job. And having the idea that other people are in charge of giving you the love that you desire, that you want, that you rightfully, totally need, you're looking in the wrong direction. You need to be looking toward yourself. You need to look within. And that's important for a couple of reasons. The first is that you can never accept from others what you cannot give to yourself. Other people may love you, they may accept you, they may tell you you're wonderful, you're beautiful, you're talented, but unless you think you're wonderful, beautiful, and talented, you will not believe them. You will not trust them. You will think they are buttering you up and getting ready to ask you to give them money or sex or something like that. It's like, yeah, how could you possibly have such low standards that you think I'm wonderful? Groucho Marx articulated that wonderfully with, I would never belong to a club that would have me as a member. It's such a great expression of I totally do not accept myself and I do not accept other people who accept me either. So it can be very hard to look within for love because most of us have been trained to look outside for love. Most of us have been trained to believe there's something wrong with us. We've also been trained to believe that there is something wrong with us for wanting love. There is something wrong with us if we want to feel good about ourselves, that that's conceited or selfish or self-centered, self-absorbed, all of those wonderful words that are freely used in the spiritual community in order to shame someone out of needing love, which is a primary, utterly necessary thing for all of us. None of us could live for a moment without love. The other difficulty about looking outside of yourself for love is that you'll put up with anything in order to get what passed for love in your house. You'll work to support somebody. You'll set aside your dreams in order for somebody else to realize their dreams. You abase yourself. You do anything they say, anything they want, because, God forbid they should go away and take with them all hope of you ever finding love. I know this so well because I did it myself many times. I don't think I was single for more than a month during my entire adult life before a back injury several years ago that totally put me out of action and made looking for love like the bottom of my priority list. I really needed to focus on getting well. But before that, I really was terrified of the idea of being alone. I thought it was the worst thing in the world. And it was only as I came to a realization, oddly enough, this happened just around the time of my back injury. I realized I was so much more lonely in a relationship than I was by myself. Because when somebody doesn't get you, when somebody treats you with contempt, when somebody treats you in an abusive way, when someone treats you like you don't matter or your needs don't matter, that is so unbelievably lonely. It's like, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to find love here. I thought I was going to get what I need here, and they're not giving it to me. It's so frightening and frustrating. I thought this person was the answer to my search for love, and they're not. It's really important to recognize that your inability or reluctance or difficulty or challenge around giving yourself love and approval is that you were taught not to do it. You were taught to withhold love from yourself because you might get a big head. You'd get too big for your britches. You'd get conceited, and that would be terrible. And this was often done by parents or those who raised you. And what goes on underneath that is really fascinating to look at because it can help you start undo the story that you don't deserve to have your needs met. It helps you to undo the story that there's something wrong with you, and because of that, you're undeserving of love or approval. Often what happens is that parents will opt to teach you not to be so needy. And the way they do that is by shaming you for needing love and approval. They shame you for needing anything. One of the things I run across a lot in my practice is people who are shamed for wanting material things. They're made to feel wrong for wanting a bigger, shinier car or a nicer house or more well-made, high-quality clothing. They were made to feel wrong and bad about that. Like it's wrong to want those things. It's wrong to have those things. But all of these things were made to be enjoyed and used. They are expressions of God's abundance. They are expressions of infinite creativity, of your higher power expressing through humans who develop beautiful clothes, beautiful cars, lovely houses. So these things are meant to be enjoyed. Why would you ever be taught it was wrong to want or have those things? Chances are it's because every time you asked for something your parents felt they couldn't afford, they felt inadequate and ashamed. They felt like they were being really bad parents or that there was something the matter with them. Otherwise, they would be able to provide for their child's every need. And because they felt so bad about themselves when you asked for stuff they felt they couldn't give you, they made you feel bad about yourself for wanting and asking them. It's like, stop calling my attention to my own inadequacy. Stop making me feel terrible about not being able to give you everything that you want. And the way they stop you is by saying, how dare you want that? How dare you ask for that? There's no money for that. We can't afford that. Who do you think you are wanting all of this stuff? Because they feel bad about themselves, they shame you.
Can we talk about shame for a second?
Yeah.
Have you been exposed to Brene Brown, read any of her stuff, seen
Oh,
her speak
yes.
or
She is
anything?
so brilliant. I just love Brene Brown.
I love Brene Brown, yes, and I'm reading Daring Greatly. And one of the things that has kicked me out a few times, it shows in her research about shame that we all, going back to the top of the show about love and not being able to survive without love, that we are hardwired for love and connection. What keeps speaking to me is sort of a unspoken should of that the connection is with others versus yourself, and that the love that we're seeking or the trust and community that we're seeking is outside of us. So in all of her shame research, I haven't felt yet, I'm not finished with the book, I'm almost finished, but I haven't felt yet that we're working on ourselves and coming from this place of love. So today's show, the truth you're missing about love, is what you were talking about getting it from someone else, being validated by someone else. And a lot of our culture, a lot of our teachings, a lot of our religions show love by and worship and adoration and respect through actions done to or for somebody else. It's hardwired into us by the way we've been modeled. And so this concept that we're talking about, the truth that you're missing about love and going within. And it's the Fit to Love brand. It really is that if you want to attract a good relationship, you have to work on the relationship with you first. And again, that's a concept for some people that's so foreign and weird. And so I want to bridge the gap a little bit today with the things that you teach people, the things that you've been through, because I know we've done several shows with Moira in the past. She's been on The Turning Point. She's done several shows on the Fit to Love podcast show. All of them have been on Freedom Friday. And we have the story about your back pain, and I definitely recommend anybody who's dealing with themselves or a loved one that's got debilitating back pain or debilitating shoulder or neck pain or even knee pain, that you go back and listen to that show. Find it on a Freedom Friday. But Moira, can you tell us what was the turning point for you? Because you're the same as the rest of us, right? We all have been taught some of the same things. And was it in the back pain that you started to understand or connect on a deeper level that the love you were seeking had to start either from within or with a higher power?
Yes, it absolutely did. The whole experience of back pain, where I was kept in bed for 7 years by a back injury and the debilitating back pain and failed surgeries that made me worse instead of better, because I was alone so much. I was living alone when it happened. And I was living alone for the remainder of those 7 years, except for a few months after a major surgery that turned out disastrously. I had a home health care lady coming in for a couple of hours 3 times a week. But other than that, I was pretty much alone. And I was so surprised at how peaceful I felt. There's no aggravation. I'm not feeling inadequate. Nobody's making me feel bad about myself. Nobody's asking to meet their needs that I am totally incapable of filling, because if you can't meet your own needs, really, in spirit, you cannot meet anybody else's needs. It's wonderful that you brought forward this thing of Brene Brown about how so much of our desire for connection and love is turned outward, and we do it through praise, through approval, through love, through acts of generosity. So the disconnect that I began to see was, why is it so good to emotionally nourish others with love and praise and approval, while being bad to nourish myself in the same way? It's kind of like asking a starving person to prepare a 3-course banquet for somebody else and not eat a bite of it herself. It's like, how does my starving serve here? It's a painful dilemma, especially for women who feel so used up and exhausted, rightly so, by being in charge of meeting the demands and needs of so many other people, and being pressured to place their own needs at the bottom, because some people will actually say it's not womanly to think about yourself. You're supposed to be giving, doing, being, working, slaving for others all the time and you get bupkis, you get nothing, or just, the bare minimum of acknowledgement, if that. And if you don't do this, you don't give till it bleeds every minute of every day, you should be ashamed because you're doing it wrong. You're being a bad woman. Where where's the sense in that? How does starving so other people may live help anybody? Really, it's so much like that parallel of the people on the plane. Put on your own oxygen mask first and then help other people. We've been trained not to meet our own needs, mostly because that was the way our parents could control us and our behavior. I'm going to withhold approval and love from you until you do what I want. That's basically how it works. And that becomes our pattern for living because our young, inexperienced brain in developing thinks that the way my parents do things is the way everybody does things. The way mommy and daddy do things is the way God does things. The way life works for mommy and daddy and me is the way life works for everybody. But that is hardly ever true, because your mother and father have their own issues, their own problems. So many scientific studies have shown assumptions that you're wonderful and doing better all the time motivate you much more fully and effectively and lovingly. So many studies have shown this. So far from being wrong or self-centered, to encourage yourself, to look back at the end of the day and say to yourself, where did I go right? What was something I did well today? Not to wallow in egotistical nonsense, but just to give yourself acknowledgement and praise for something that's legitimately praiseworthy.
I recommend people do a gratitude or appreciation journal all the time, especially when they're trying to get from one feeling to another feeling, or to get out of anxiety, or to clear their mind before going to sleep at night, to unload any thoughts they may have. They can get rid of the negative ones first, but to start practicing and acknowledging, because we are what we practice, right?
Mhm.
And if we practice what's gone wrong, then that's the first thing on our minds, of course. So we help to create our own anxiety by reminding ourselves and beating ourselves up. And trust me, I am 100% doing this to myself too. So, I've been doing this. I'm not immune to this. I haven't unlearned it to the point where it doesn't get triggered or doesn't get practiced on some level. At the beginning of the show, you were talking about the process of loving somebody else and am I good enough, and the unworthiness part of that. And it brought a memory forward for me of a relationship that I had been in for a couple years that really was a 2.5 year lesson for me. And I knew it at the time. I probably have 7 full journals during that time where I literally in every other page say, please God, let me learn the lesson and let it be over. Like I knew when I was in it, it wasn't the relationship of my life, but there was a need to be in it for whatever reason I didn't know. But I begged and begged and begged for it to be clear to me. And it took about 2.5 years to get out of it. And when it kind of became clear, I could look back and see all the insecurities. I could see that I was trying to do the right thing or say the right thing or look the right way or be the right person, even though prior to that, if you would have asked me if I thought I was insecure, I wouldn't have said yes.
Mhm.
But it was such an important process. It was an important process that even with loving parents who've supported me and believe in me and give me positive affirmations and are always on my side and are proud of me. Like literally, I have a great family upbringing. I can't look to that and say, well, it's because I was disapproved and shamed that I was insecure. It was just the way it was. And I look at myself and think, well, I had a pretty stable base, yet here I am in a relationship for 2.5 years there was a purpose to it. I learned a lot and I never repeat it again. And I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. But the reality of it was I needed to do it. It was like that growth spurt, that process that you can't escape, that is absolutely necessary. Yours would have been your back pain, right?
Right.
Your back pain was your process. You couldn't escape it. It served a purpose, and that purpose was to grow you out of the pathology of looking outside of yourself for approval to make you worthy and to find the love from within first, and to connect to a higher spirit, to creator, and to know that you are always taken care of and that you are loved and you are whole and you are worthy and all of that stuff. But it's such an interesting path how all of us get there at a different time. And it sounds like, well, for me and for you, like, I'm sure everyone has a story, and I'm sure some people aren't even there yet, right? So that's what I want to focus on for this last part of the show. For the people that are listening right now that maybe feel like they haven't had that breakthrough, so to speak, or that transcendence in really being able to connect within on a pure level, or connect with spirit or with source or with creator on a level that really fulfills them. And also for the ones who've been disconnected. I'm currently disconnected right now. My cat passed away last week. I was in a space of holding the space during the transition for 10 days. And that was really hard, to cry every day and to be sad every day. And at the same time, then looking at my life and other aspects and being frustrated and feeling overwhelmed and feeling kind of back up against the wall. So at this very red hot moment in time, I'm also feeling a lack of connectedness to source and spirit and myself and to love. So I want you, as we come back from the break, to guide us through a process or two, a thought or two, or a meditation, even a guided meditation that people can connect with who they really are, remind themselves of that, and no matter where they are, get a little bit of relief and move in the direction of getting closer and closer to feeling that wholeness of love. So we do need to take a break and thank our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Are you consciously using the law of attraction in your everyday life? How would you like some accountability and structure provided for you so you can easily start attracting more good into your life? Join us for the next 30-day manifestation challenge. Go to fit2love.tv/30daym. That's FIT, the number 2, LOVE.tv/30DAYM. 30-day M. Well, you'll be provided completely for free a 30-day packet including audios, instructions, and accountability in the form of a private Facebook group where we share our manifestations with each other every day, and we keep each other accountable for doing the work. Join us for the next 30-day manifestation challenge. Come on over to fit2love.tv/30daym. Okay, Moira, so I'm going to say help them, but first let's say help me. So help me. Give me like a quick little, I've gone through the ringer. It's been a hard 2.5 weeks, and I'm in a process. And even though I intellectually understand all this stuff, I'm not feeling love. And I'm feeling love, but not in a bright, energetic, easy flowing, trusting kind of way. I feel it when I focus on something like my cat Domino, or my husband, or my parents, or a client, or how lovely it is, the weather now, but it's sporadic. Help me clear that.
You got it. So, would it be all right to do a mental, emotional, spiritual, physical healing on you right now? Because I see that there are a lot of places where you're sore and hurting and wounded, and you have every right to feel that way. Anybody in your position would. And I'm saying this to anybody who's feeling anything in the way of sadness or grief or hurting of any kind. You have every right to feel the way that you do right now. In fact, it would be kind of weird if you didn't. The fact that you are feeling this pain is normal and demonstrates that you are a deeply loving, sensitive person. So there's nothing bad or wrong about feeling the way that you're feeling, but feeling like you're kind of stuck there and it's hard to kind of move on. There's a part that believes that I have to keep on feeling bad in order to honor my missing loved one. So it'll be all right to show you all the other ways to honor your missing loved one besides pain, emotional, spiritual, physical, mental pain. Yes?
Absolutely. Know that isn't how I feel about that in particular. I'm painting the picture of the grief that has been going on daily for a couple weeks, but I'm much better on that level. It's more of a work and career overwhelm. And therefore, because it's so many different places that it's coming from, I just want to say screw it to all of it and take off.
Yeah, of course you do.
So I know Death is a temporary, it's a transition. It isn't an end. It isn't final. I expected the death at some point in time. I just thought it was going to be in a few more years. I don't feel the need to grieve in order to respect. That doesn't resonate with me. I absolutely feel like love is the way to respect. And I can look at his picture and kiss the picture and tell him that I love him and feel love and know that he's right here with me, just not physically. So intellectually, I believe, and I really do believe all that in my heart. My heart's just still a little sad, just in general, about everything and about what's been going on in my life everywhere. So that's what I want to, like, for someone that's hurting, regardless of the reasons, I want to connect with love. And I want to connect with love in a pure way that's going to feel more embodied from head to toe and in my heart versus just what I keep telling myself in my head about what I believe.
That's a great distinction to make because what you tell yourself in your head is only 5% of your awareness. The other 95% of your awareness is not buying into this at all right now. What you intellectually know, what you sense, what you want to believe, what you choose to believe, it's all very, very mental, which is common for a lot of intelligent people like you and me and our listeners. And so, what I'm sensing is that your body's cells are missing the physical cells of your loved one. They're kind of like reaching out in little energetic tendrils. Where are you? Where are you? So, would it be all right to show your cells what it feels like to connect with the love there is, even if it's beyond physical form? Because the love is always there, it's never missing, but your cells are like, where are they? Where are the cells of my little lovely cat? So, or your lovely loved one. So it's a very natural biological level of mourning where your cells are missing the cells of the one who is gone. It doesn't matter whether they're an animal or a human. The love you feel for them is love. So it would also be all right to show you all the other ways and forms that love can take besides your loved one, in addition to your loved one, never diminishing what you've had with each other, but realizing that love is everywhere and showing you what it feels like to recognize this on a cellular level so you feel it in your bones as well as know it in your mind. Is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, good. I just felt the cells like, oh, here's the love. So, okay, they're feeling connected again. The cells are feeling connected again with the love, in particular of your beloved cat, and in general of the love of God, which is the love that underlies all creation, that underlies all beings and all things. It's like the quantum level is where the love of the divine lives all the time. And as I say this, I'm feeling your cells sending out these energetic tendrils, reaching out for where is that love at the quantum level, the love that underlies all things. So would it be all right to show your cells what it feels like to feel safe and worthy of being connected to the love that unites all things now? Yes?
Yes. And before you continue, though, I just want to make sure for everyone who's listening and also receiving this or questioning it because they're a little skeptical, we're using theta healing right now, right?
Yes, that's part of it.
Okay. Just so, and we can explain that when we're done. Okay.
Yeah. If this sounds good to you, say yes, and it will be given to you in a way that you can accept.
Yes.
And if you don't want it, you don't have to say anything. Just say, okay, sitting here listening. When will she say something interesting? So, and that's fine. You have every right to think as you think and feel as you feel. Sometimes we forget about love, or we start thinking that it can only come to us from certain people or beings or from certain situations, when in fact, as you know, JJ, love is all around you. It's what grows the grass. It's what forms the grass. At the quantum level, grass is made of love, just like you and me. Everything is made of love at the quantum level, the level of divine that underlies all things, all creation. So it's helping you feel emotionally and physically, organically, biologically connected with the love of all that is. Now, if that's okay, please say yes out loud, whether you're JJ or listening on your own. That makes
Yes.
you a co-creator in this breakthrough realization. The beauty of asking for something like this, JJ, and it's so perfect that you did, is that it helps you to connect with all of the love that dwells within you. So you can let go of looking outside yourself for love or approval or praise. Because when you're able to feel that love within yourself, as perhaps you are now, when you're able to sense that feeling of appreciation for you that may be starting to kind of come in right now into your cells and into your brain, when you start feeling that approval that, maybe I'm okay the way that I am, that is what actually opens you to experience greater love with other people. Because you can never accept from others what you will not give to yourself. And you cannot give to others what you cannot give to yourself. So locating the presence of infinite love within you is the key to harmonious, supportive, respectful, and loving relationships on the inner level in relationship with yourself, as well as on the outward level in your relationship with other people, with the earth, with all the beings that inhabit the earth and all of the cosmos and creation beyond this beautiful planet that we live upon. So would it be all right to show you everything you need to see and feel and know to feel safe and comfortable and worthy of locating the presence of divine love at the center of your body, being, and field right now? Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. So just showing you, and I'm seeing your cells sending out their little energetic tendrils. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Aha! Yes, suddenly there's this, this infusion of the divine unconditional love that loves you no matter what you are, no matter who you are, no matter where you are in your life, no matter what you're doing. It thinks you're wonderful just the way you are, because you are. It can be so puzzling when we realize that we'd never dream of looking at a tree and saying, these leaves really should be purple, its bark got to be hot pink, the branches should be up over here, we need more branches over there. We just look at it and see, a tree. It is so beautiful. This tree is as God made it. It is whole and complete and perfect, exactly as it is. And I may prune it or train it to grow in a certain direction, but it's really just kind of embroidering on perfection. And you know what? You are as God made you too. This is why you are whole and perfect and complete exactly as you are. You are as God made you. It is only your judgments, it is only your withholding of approval, it is only the shaming that you've internalized that causes you to think that there is anything wrong with you. The truth is that you are whole exactly as you are, which means nothing is missing from you and nothing needs to be added to you. When you start from the framework of I am whole and complete and perfect, and by perfect I mean I am as I am as God made me. When you start from that, your insecurities start to fall away, your feelings of inadequacy start to fall away, accepting yourself becomes the norm rather than the exception. Loving and appreciating yourself becomes the norm rather than something unusual. This is where having perhaps a little list, maybe a gratitude list or an appreciation list of here's where I went right today, here's where I made a good choice, that starts training your brain to look for evidence of your wonderfulness, of your beauty, of your strength, of your courage, of your wisdom, and trains it away from looking for your flaws. When you train your brain toward what is good about you, to appreciate your gifts, to appreciate that you are as you are, utterly unique in all creation, never here before, never will be here again, never to be duplicated, unique, precious, and irreplaceable exactly as you are. That is the fundamental aspect of self-acceptance that then allows you to say, okay, let me express who I am. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I'd like to share. This is how I would like to give my gifts. And oh my gosh, you've got wonderful gifts too. Let's share. Let's express. Your self-sabotage starts going away because you're in a place of being able to give from fullness, wholeness, completeness, perfection. So you're able to give and receive, to give emotional nourishment to others through love, approval, praise, and receiving it from them. And you're able to receive it from others because you're able to receive it now from yourself. where you can say, yeah, God did a pretty good job here. So there's so many times in your life that your brain has blocked out or blinded you from because it doesn't support the story that you're inadequate. There's so many instances in your life where you have done exactly the right thing, where you made a huge difference, perhaps without even realizing it, where you may have saved someone's life, someone's sanity, someone's soul. You are a gift and a contribution. You always have been. Would it be all right to remind your brain of all the times where you got it right, where you did something good, where you contributed, where you gave value? Help you remember that, because your brain needs evidence, and the evidence is in your own memories. Once the brain has evidence, it can then begin to believe it. So would it be all right to light up in your awareness all of your memories of all the times where you got it right?
Yes.
If that's okay, please say yes out loud now.
Yes.
I really had such a huge breakthrough a few weeks ago when suddenly I asked myself, what if my mother loved me more than I thought? Because I grew up feeling terribly unloved and unwanted. And I thought that meant that I was unlovable and that there was something wrong with me because, if my mother didn't love me, there must be something terrible about me. When I asked the question, what if my mother loved me more than I thought? First of all kinds of memories came in that I had completely blocked out because I was closed off from that consideration, since they didn't match my story that I was unloved and unwanted. Suddenly there were all these memories popping up of times where she was affectionate, and thoughtful, and kind, and put me first and was really on my side. And suddenly I was able to remember them for the first time. I was also able to regard myself with compassion for having had the story of being unloved and unwanted for so long, because I realized that I came up with that story when I was very young, very inexperienced. My brain wasn't fully developed, but I came up with that story to explain my experience to myself, to try to understand why my mother treated me the way she treated me. That protective shell became a prison, and it blocked off all of my awareness of my mother's love that was actually there. It blocked up all my awareness of all the other love that was available to me from other people, from God, from within myself. It blocked it off because my story was there's no love for me. So when you open to that possibility, just to consider for one crazy moment, what if I'm okay just the way I am? What if I deserve more love than I think? When you start asking questions like that, it can be so powerful and heart-opening and mind-opening to realize that, yeah, you had this story, it explained a lot, yet it was never the full story. It was the piece that you could perceive from the limited experience and perspective of a child.
And this is something you can absolutely help other people do.
Absolutely. It's my life's
Okay.
work.
So if you're listening to this and it speaks to you on a deeper level, then I would recommend getting in touch with Moira and setting up a session. Moira, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me at moirashepherd.com. It's an unusual name with unusual spelling, so if it's okay, I'll spell it Moira Shepherd, SHEPARD.com. And when you are there, you will find information about how to accept and love yourself in ways that are easy and organic and natural to you. And I offer you a tool for free in order to be able to start doing that for yourself. It is a guidebook and a guided meditation called Top 10 Ways to Be a Love and Money Magnet. And essentially, it's 10 ways that I've identified and with thousands of people that we reject, abandon, dismiss, or betray ourselves without even realizing it because we've done it so automatically. So it brings these 10 areas where we need a lot more love and acceptance than we're giving ourselves.
Excellent. Everyone, make sure to check that out. And if you're driving or exercising, you can come back over to the site and the link will be there to Moira's website, come to fittolove.tv. If you're loving this show today and you're a Freedom Friday fan, please subscribe to the show on iTunes. We'd love to have your subscription. It's free. You can delete the shows you don't want to listen to, but we absolutely love and adore everyone who subscribes to the show and enjoys this kind of content. So again, thank you so much for listening. Moira will be back. We're going to explore a little bit more about abusive relationships on a deeper level. So Moira will be back. Thank you so much, Moira, for being here today.
You're so welcome, my dear.
Thank you again for tuning in to Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. If you're inspired and want more, come on over to fit2love.tv and check out our Freedom Fridays, or find us on iTunes. More at Fit to Love, physical, emotional, and spiritual fitness for the happy life you deserve.